Good evening, everyone. I call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. on March 19th, 2026. We have a quorum present. Let's proceed. Before we do proceed, I'd like for everyone to know that tonight, with all of our citizens' times, they have 3 minutes, and the clock, Ms. B, will start and the clock will end. Out of respect for one another, while someone is speaking, can we please, out of respect, have silence? If not, you will be asked to be removed. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Ms. B.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Ms. Boone,
Present.
Ms. Bailey,
Present.
Mr. Alsbrook, Mr. Grant,
Present.
Dr. Harrison,
Here.
Mr. Holt,
Here.
Ms. Parker,
Here.
Dr. Carter.
Here.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the agenda.
Second it.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussions? We will go ahead and vote. Mr. Grant?
Yay.
Ms. Parker?
Yay.
Ms. Bailey?
Nay.
Mr. Holt?
Yes.
Dr. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Boone, yes. Moving right along. Superintendent's report.
Dr. Walters.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the
evening.
board, Dr. Carter. This evening, I'm excited to share some information and discuss some options that we have moving forward as it relates to the Charles Street Gym, the instructional calendar for next school year, and just some updates on what the operations team has undertaken over the past several weeks. So this evening, I'm going to begin with the Charles Street Gym refurbishment. In July of 2026, as we've discussed, Franklin City Public Schools received access to $2.835 million in a school construction assistance program grant. This particular grant opportunity will help to cover up to 30% of construction or renovated costs. The way the grant was written, this project is specific to the Charles Street Gym. And ultimately, our goal is to revitalize the gym so that it becomes an instructional learning space that houses classrooms supporting robotics and engineering programming. Franklin City Public Schools has partnered with ESG to help us organize and manage this project. And so I have with me this evening Ms. Cheryl Midkiff from ESG, just to help explain some of the components of this project. When considering how to tackle a project of this magnitude, what we've done is we have looked at a couple of different options. The first is a turnkey option that would take care of all necessary improvements to that space. It would immediately provide us with those classrooms and with lab space for both of those programs. It would also cover the cost of furnishings and significant contingency, just not knowing where we are with the economy right now. There could be some fluctuations, and so that has definitely been considered for the turnkey project. The modified turnkey still provides us with immediate classroom space and lab space. It does not cover the cost of furnishings, and it minimizes the contingencies that we have for this project. The shell option assumes further construction down the road. What the shell option provides is really just some of the components that we would need in order to get the certificate of occupancy for the building. Several of you were on the board as I came into operations, and unfortunately that was one of the first difficult decisions that we had to make. The building had gotten to a point where it wasn't safe for people to be in the building. And so this shell option will allow us to address those issues. For instance, it will have us demo the existing locker rooms, boiler and heating system. We will be able to reuse the existing HVAC air handler and condenser. It helps us to also ensure a complete envelope of the building. So addressing any water penetration concerns that we have. It will place a new roof on the rear portion of the gym and improvements at the corners inside the gym itself. We've seen that that's really where we have some water penetrating the building. It will include the placement of industrial electric heaters as freeze protection, and it will include plumbing for a functional restroom within that space. Now, when we look at the overall cost of this project, the original grant was written with that turnkey component in mind. So the total project cost for the turnkey option is $9.43 million. And if we utilize the full SCAP funding, which is 30% of that total cost, then we would need to address $6.59 million in the remaining cost. The modified turnkey, again, that removes furnishings and it minimizes contingencies, gets the total project cost to $8.7 million. So again, SCAP caps us at 30% of whatever the total project is. So the grant funding that we use would be $2.61 million, which means that $225,000 of that SCAP would be returned to the state. And at that point, we're looking at having to finance about $6 million of the overall project. Lastly, the shell option is estimated to cost approximately $7 million. 30% of that is $2.1 million. That's what SCAP will cover. And so the grant funding returned to the state would total about $735,000. With that option, we would be financing about $4.9 million on the project. So the path forward that we would like to pursue is entering into a tax-exempt leasing plan to fund this project. With this particular option, this would require that the school division assume cost associated with this work, and it doesn't put the capital price on City Council. So the annual cost would be absorbed in our operating budget. And the current plan would be for us to finance this work over a 15-year period. And what we're looking to do is have monthly payments, so we're paying on the principal more frequently. And unfortunately, when we look at the total costs of the project, those total costs are in stone. We know that those are really the limits that we have. In terms of the monthly cost, that monthly cost, we have estimates, but it's not anything that is in stone at this point. In order for us to get those concrete figures, we would need to begin formalizing contracts with ESG for the work and with the financial institution to cover the cost. But again, in terms of looking at how to move forward, we know that there's a lot of work that needs to be done at the Charles Street Gym, particularly if we're creating that as a space for our students to be able to use again. So I'm happy to entertain questions that you have, but this evening I am requesting permission to proceed with ESG in formalizing a contract for the work and pursuing the shell option, which would mean that we would have to have further construction down the road.
So my first question really is, so do we need the space? Is it necessary that we have that for those? We don't have anywhere else to put robotics or engineering. I mean, these are not full-time classes. These are more after-school projects, correct?
Well, the plan is for us to incorporate that into our CTE programming. One of the things that we have run into with robotics and trying to find them a full-time space is that they require a space that is higher than typical classrooms. And so that does provide us with the space if we're able to reimagine the Charles Street Gym.
So, Dr. Harrison, the further thought process is to make sure that we have a space for wrestling permanently, and the shell, volleyball, cheerleading. That's what could occur with the renovation of Charles Street Gym. So we don't have any other space in the district to house those programs, and we've been wrestling with this difficulty for years.
Back to what Dr. Reed said, do we really need the space, though? We have 4 other schools. From the last information I saw, we're only going to get 3 or 4 classrooms. That is a very, very high ticket just for 3 or 4 classrooms, and we have 4 other schools. So do we need the space to go in debt with that amount on a monthly payment? Because right now, we're paying a huge monthly payment on that other contract that we can't seem to get out of, that another board made an agreement on, and we've all been questioning why, how, what. We don't want to grip another board like that 10 or 15 years from now. And to carry 2 years, I remember you used an analogy about a mortgage.
Yes, ma'am.
You're carrying a $3,000, small number compared to what we're talking about,
Sure.
but we're carrying a $3,000 mortgage for our house and another $3,000 for our house. So I kind of agree with Dr. Reed. We may need to find somewhere else to house this. And is that the only bid we have is with ESG?
ESG became a partner with us as we went through the PPEA process, and we opened up for unsolicited bids to help us with this work. Going back to what you said about the gym, one of the things that I'll say is we've kind of reached the point with the Charles Street Gym that unfortunately we haven't had capital funding available in order to make any improvements on the space. And for any programs to utilize that space, it's going to take some significant funding for us to be able to address the issues in that building. Unfortunately, there hasn't been really an emphasis on addressing the issues since the previous contract that we've discussed before. So it's a difficult choice to make, but I believe that is something that we need to consider. It won't be any less expensive for us to address the needs of that building as we move down the road.
No, it may not be less expensive to address that, but we may be finished paying this one off. How many years do we have left on this big amount that we're paying every month currently?
Tracy, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we finished paying December of '28.
Yes, we won't have that down a year. We complete this one. Again, back to the 2 large mortgages.
Yes,
And the reason I asked about a second bid, because a couple of months ago when we went to the conference, there were different contractors who did the same thing, and they said they would love a chance to bid at it, because I was discussing it with them because the number was so high.
Right.
And we were going over contingencies and all those other things
Sure.
when you build, like I said, a house, redoing something. So I just think it's things to consider before we do that.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. Can you go back to the numbers? With the shell, 4.9 million financing. I'm going to piggyback off of Ms. Bailey. And the reason why I am is because that project that we have that we're paying so much money for, that's half of it is broken down, half of it we can't use, half of it we don't have a warranty. Everything has gone out. You're asking us $4.9 million over 15 years. Over 15 years, what is our guarantee on a warranty? Because you're letting me know that the roofs are not being done, they're being skim coated. So we're not getting new roofs. We're just getting skim coats. With a skim coat, that's 3, maybe 5 years that it'll last. What are our warranties on this?
Cheryl, can you speak to that?
On any of the work being done, what are our warranties?
Well, any of the work that's new that's coming in, like we're talking about a new roof on the back part of the building, because the roof on the other part was done not too terribly long ago, where that just may need some patchwork, but a new roof on the back. So that would be guaranteed for 25 years or whatever the roofing is with the company that we used to
Okay,
do
now,
that.
new roof in the back, and you said patching in the front. Patching is new. What is our warranty?
Well, any type of roofer will give you a warranty with the work that they're doing. So that will be determined by the work that's done on that existing part.
The reason why I'm asking that is because I won't be sitting in this chair in 15 years. And I don't want to put that burden on someone else. $4.9 million. When I think of that, I also think of our trailers. And when I think about trailers, we have some classrooms that don't have heat, some classrooms that don't have air. We have split units in the back that our warranty has ran out. No one has gone behind and tried to get an extended warranty or any of that, so we're coming more out of pocket. And you're asking us to proceed with this, with ESG, am I correct? Tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I've been in the wrestling team. That's not a continual thing. So if engineering and us other projects, that means that's not a full-time wrestling gym. Because we had to share it, you had to pull up the mat. So that the second thing is, it's concerning me is, I mean, I've taught in the schools, we've got huge improvements that need for other things. I mean, only one of my air conditioners worked when I taught, right? And it was constantly needing to be repaired. So again, yeah, it'd be nice to have a facility, but when you're putting us down, like you said, $5 million, we're only teaching 2 classes there versus we've got places in the high school that need a lot of repairs. I mean, I don't know. I'm just having a hard time putting my hand on it because it's not like, are we going to be using it for what's its value? And I know the Charles Street Gym has a lot of meaning to our community. There's a lot of people that have, I think Kent saying he played basketball there. I mean, that's great. But at the same time, is that worth that $5+ million that we're going to put into it? Are we going to get that return in educating and helping our students really what they need on other areas? I mean, as a science teacher, I would have liked to have a science lab. There's no science lab in the high school, okay? Not one that works. So again, I'm just having a hard time because I don't see what its value. It's a big project. Would a rebuild or a renew? I mean, what other options can we think about possibly?
So, board, the question, the 2.83, if you don't want to move forward with that, the 2.83 will go back to the state. And we will still be struggling with trying to find a wrestling facility, volleyball, all the other extra activities that we have poured over. So it is up to you. It was just at the time what we could do to try to provide renovated space because we also don't have enough money for new construction. So this is what we proposed and what we have to work with. So if it is in a shell type space, it could be used all year round for anything else you want because the shell type space is not a classroom. It's just a completed gym that can be used for whatever we need. But I understand your concerns.
Just a quick question. If we did say yes tonight, what would be the estimated time that the gym would be ready for use?
Cheryl?
Well, what you would be saying yes to is basically the permission to move forward and with a contract that is a not-to-exceed number. So then, once we do that, then we'll get into final determination of what we'll actually bid out all the work, get the lowest bids for the work to be done, determine what the space is going to be used for so that we can get the right things in there for that. And then from that, we would proceed with construction. That construction, we would try to aim for at least a year, to be done in a year. There's still some to be determined based off the structural basis of the building. There's a lot of cracks in the brick and that sort of thing. Some of those things were in the contingency that we actually still have in there to make sure that those things are addressed. So timing, we would aim for a year construction and try our best to hit that. So I can't guarantee you an actual time frame, but that would be our goal, is to get it done within a year or sooner.
Educated guess, year and a half with the part that's up front of the bidding and the planning and.
Depending on how long it takes us, it will take us, if it takes us 3 months to get through that process, then yeah, that's stretching it out a little bit further. But yeah, as far as construction beginning to end, we would try to hit that 12-month period.
Can we take this as a first read?
Next board meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And I think
We
it's
can bring this back.
April 2nd, but before April 2nd, we can't do it together because it'd be considered a meeting, but each one of us gets something showing us something other than what this is, because I know we were looking at another building, but unfortunately, we don't have the capital for that building. The other building is procrastinating cash, and that was that big garage place, which is still here in the city. And that was only $900,000, and that's way cheaper than 4.9, but they wanted cash, and we don't have the capital for that. It's still available. Yes.
Big difference in numbers.
Yes, we don't have the capital for it. As of today, and I know we're not voting, but my answer would be no, only because I need more information than what I have right now. Because from my understandings, and I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Cheryl B. DeKeff.
I'm sorry, because I wasn't speaking into the mic. The mic was off. I understand the bidding and everything would take time, and we're financing 4.9 for the show. That's for the show.
Minimum.
Not the 3.8, and it actually grant funding used 2.1.
If we
Wait.
do the show.
We're doing the show. There's a possibility we may go over that 4.9 because we're going out and getting estimates. I mean, is 4.9 the cap? These are questions that I do have. Is that the
Sure.
cap? We're not going no higher?
Yes, ma'am. So what we would pursue is a contract of not to exceed, and then ESG helps to organize the bidding process, ensuring that we don't exceed that $4.9 million limit.
Because when you say the shell, I'm going to piggyback to before you guys were even on the board. We had individuals go in, and there was mold. I'm not sure, remember whether it was black mold or how it was. When you say shell, everything's being gutted out, correct?
The shell is
The outside.
basically ensuring that the envelope is complete, that we're addressing any water issues penetrating the building. It is demoing some of the space that's currently locker room space, taking care of plumbing under the building. These are pieces that we would be addressing, and for us to get to classroom space, admittedly, there is additional construction that would be necessary. And so I don't want to paint the picture that if we move forward with a shell option, that is the end, period. The SCAP funding would at least allow us to get to a point where we can re-enter the building. And so to Dr. Carter's point, once we have that certificate of occupancy, we can then utilize that space for whatever purpose until we're ultimately able to realize the vision of that being additional CTE programming space for something like robotics and engineering.
What is our time frame with the SCAP funding? What is the last day or a week before the last day that we lose it because the state takes it back?
So-
What is that?
Yeah, you have to do something before July 1. So it just has to be in motion.
Okay.
As long as something is in motion, they're fine. But if there's no activity whatsoever, they take it back. And you may consider it just as a shell and leave it as a gym. I mean, you got time to think about it, and it just be all purpose for everything, so that it can be used every day, all day, year round. You can leave it just like it is. It doesn't necessarily have to visualize itself into a CTE space. It just could be just revitalized, and we use it for all the other athletics and sports that we've been suffering trying to find a home for.
No, I understand that, and I understand we need a home. Wrestling has been thrown around. Cheerleading doesn't have a home. I understand that. Robotics definitely doesn't have a home. None of these have homes, and I understand that the children need a home for these activities, and I get that part. You said July 1st. Can you please bring us something back?
Yes, ma'am.
Even with that July 1st date, at 6.59 for turnkey, 6.09 for modified, 4.9 for shell, still a lot of money. We're still carrying that huge note every month. We still have our teachers, and being told our teachers are getting paid a little less than some of the average, and other things that needs addressing. To do that at the same time until 2/28, it may be worse than the situation we're in. And even if we do lose that because we don't move forward by July or 1st or June 1st, whatever the date was, another one may come available. God makes things happen, and it surely can. But put that big figure while we have another big figure paying out right now is a lot to consider.
Understood.
All right, Dr. Walters,
All right.
next presentation.
Thank you, babe. So the next item on my agenda is to share again the proposed school calendar. So there was feedback that was received following our initial presentation of the calendar, and we have taken some of that feedback into consideration. I've attached the second draft calendar to board docs for your review. Some of the highlights of that include removing the wellness and professional development days in November and December. And the thought about that was both of those months have an extended break. And so we wanted to be sure we were maximizing our instructional time during those 2 months. The other piece that we have considered based on feedback that we received was actually the addition of a teacher workday as we come back from spring break. Again, for teachers to be able to organize plans for that week and then moving forward. With the adjustments that we're proposing in this calendar and really opening up more Fridays than we have had with previous calendars, we were able to take another look at the schedules for both Franklin High School and SP Morton Elementary. And based on the increased number of days that we would be in session, we're able to adjust the time at Franklin High School to begin at 8 a.m. and conclude at 3 p.m. And at SP Morton, the The school day would be the same. Right now, it's 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. But what we're looking at is an enrichment period on some Fridays. And Dr. Ricks, could you speak to that, kind of the plan for that time?
Good evening. With the enrichment time, the students will have an extra block. And in that enrichment time, we will target specific remediation needs. There may be a math group. There may be a reading group. We may have our Western Tidewater. We have our different organizations that will come in and host groups as well. We may have art enrichment and get back to having like a club where the students are focused in at the end of the day. And this will also support at the end of the day with the major pickups that we have from parents at the end of the day as well. So we will make sure they get that core instruction throughout the day, and with that extra time, give them an enrichment block, give them a choice as well, but also assign where they may need specific supports. So that's just kind of the ideal of it. We still have to plan out, but that's kind of our kind of an overview of our approach as we, have that time from 9 to 4 at the elementary school.
But would those enrichment periods only be on Fridays? Is that how that is currently being set up, or we're still
No, it may not.
negotiating?
Well, it may be additional days. We just haven't put the plan out there together because each day they're still going to be in school from 9 to 4. So it may just be built into the master schedule as we work with the administration team, and see how that's going to flow and where kids may need the most support. We may have a sight word group, a phonics club, just whatever the students need, and then give them a choice in a club that they pick. Like the dean of students may focus on discipline, social emotional learning. So we just want to make it an enrichment, give them what they need, and then let them have a choice as well.
One of the things that we would be able to add at the elementary school with this adjustment is an extended PLC period for our teachers. And essentially that is going to allow us to take some of the time that we have built in through some of the professional development days and provide some more job-embedded training for teachers where they're able to work shoulder to shoulder with our curriculum specialist to be very intentional about the lessons that they're planning. And dive into the data just a little bit more. So that's another byproduct of shifting the calendar to more of a model like what we're describing this evening.
Acronyms.
Have you
Excuse me.
gotten any feedback from the teachers about this yet, or it has not been presented to them as of yet? Not yet.
Good question. No, we haven't presented a survey out to teachers yet. It's just a discussion once we were planning out the calendar. So we still have to go through all those channels and get support, feedback from the parents as well, things that they need.
Okay.
So
What is
Ms.
PLC?
Boone, to your question about PLC, that is professional learning community.
Okay.
It goes beyond the typical grade level or departmental meeting. It really is about intentional for the team to be learning together, taking a look at student work, identifying how they're going to target some of the gaps that students might have. So it really digs in a little bit more than just calling it a grade level meeting or a planning period. So, Ms. Bailey, to your point, I'm happy to share this with staff and stakeholders to gather more information, and we can bring this calendar back once we have that for presentation and approval, hopefully at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
And that, for me, it's the parents. We already know at SP Morton, something like 20-30% of them are picking their kids up early on those, so they're not even staying for the full instructional day.
Nope.
So if we're not providing adequate, why are we keeping people there? Teachers we're paying when there's not students. The other thing that I found is that most sports coaches can't start doing it until 4:30. So what do the kids do from 3 to 4:30? Then we have to provide some sort of instruction or something at the school because the kids can't go home and come back. That's why, let's get the stakeholders involved and see all involved. And I know you have. I know you've had multiple meetings, and I'm just looking at it. See, for me, I wouldn't put a high school kid in school till 9 o'clock. The data's there. California did an amazing study, and when they put kids starting at 9, 30% improvement in scores and retention. So there's good data on that. Let the younger kids get there earlier if that's easier for their parents, and the older kids get there later because they don't sleep until 12 o'clock, so getting them there earlier was actually causing less improvement. So, there's a lot of data there that you could follow.
Sure. All right, so we'll bring that back for your review at an upcoming meeting. Thank you, Dr. Riggs.
Thank you.
Want to share just some progress that the maintenance team has been making on a couple of projects. Here I've got some pictures of the updated FHS greenhouse. Again, thank you to our partners with Virginia State University who have helped to fund this work. You'll see, I'll go back to the envelope. You see the new plastic over the existing frame of that longhouse. And you'll also see in some of these pictures that there are materials that have been delivered. We do have a maintenance tech who is really serving as a point person for the more technical mechanical side of things related to this greenhouse. And Ms. Tompkins will be sharing some of the work that's being done on the instructional side with using this structure. But again, huge thank you to Virginia State University and their partnership helping us to move this forward, opening this opportunity for our students. Happy to report that the awning is completed, connecting Mod C to SP Morton. And of course, we had some opportunity to test that awning out recently. That did very well. So again, very thankful for our maintenance supervisor who has vetted the work that was completed by the contractor. And you'll see, I believe it is the final payment that was made in the vouchers later on this evening during Ms. Morrison's presentation. Progress report on our pre-K and kindergarten playground. You'll see several pictures here of the new equipment that has been installed. I was just on the phone with the installer today. The holes that you see in the ground have been filled. He is waiting on a few pieces that weren't shipped with the majority of the equipment. So that'll be one of the last things that needs to be done. But he is scheduling the delivery of the mulch. So we are going with a wood fiber, like a composite, that is truly a soft surface for our students. So that is going to be coming in. Again, if weather continues to cooperate with us, we should be able to complete this in the very near future. And lastly, very, very happy to report about the SP Morton Spring Fling. That was held this past Saturday. Excellent turnout. We had approximately 400 people. We had 20 vendors. Huge thank you to Aid Now, a nonprofit that helped us to organize this and make sure information got out. They helped to coordinate with ODU Community Care. And so when participants came in, they all entered in through ODU. They were able to have some screenings if they chose. Food Lion helped by providing meals for families who were present. So every family left with a bag full of groceries to be able to fix a spaghetti dinner. Thank you to our JJV cheerleading squad who performed during the lunch period of the event. Thank you to student services team members who were instrumental at check-in, helping to keep track of who was here and provide some direction. And also want to say thank you again to the OBC Healthcare Foundation for providing $5,000 for the purchase of new school supplies. So every child who was present was able to get supplies to finish the year strong. So. And I will be happy to answer any other questions that you might have. All right, folks, I'll see you. Go ahead.
You tried it. So, okay, so when is the greenhouse going to be like completely done? Because we used to be in there all the time, and I don't do that when I was in school because I felt like you were going to look at me sideways. But we used to be in the greenhouse all the time.
Yes.
Especially in science class with the teacher that we had growing plants and doing different things. So at what point do we expect to be able to actually utilize the greenhouse for us veterans and the students?
Sure. So I'll say that we are still waiting on some materials. In that image, you'll remember seeing some materials have been delivered. We are still waiting for the remainder of those items to arrive. But we do hope to be able to begin moving in and utilizing that space prior to the end of this school year. Several of our students in Clear Choice are already starting to go through some of the practices that are going to be necessary for when they are able to use that space. So that's what we're looking at. We're going to be able to pilot a few things prior to the end of this school year. and then really kick things off at the beginning of next year. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Walters.
Ms. Morrison?
Dr. Carter, Madam Chair, school board members, and those assembled, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm going to start out today by presenting some more detail about the special revenue funds budget for next year, and then I'll go into my normal monthly financial report. My goal here is to provide clear picture of where we stand and what does that mean. First slide, please. Last board meeting, I presented this slide, and it, in response to board requests, I'm prepared to provide additional detail on our special revenue funds. Next slide. Okay, so the expected special revenue fund for cafeteria, the expected revenue is $861,693 from all sources. So this slide presents a breakdown of each of the expenditures and how they're allocated. We have compensation, salaries, and benefits by each position, cafeteria bank charges, miscellaneous cafeteria materials, and then we have supplies and food cost for each school. All right, next slide. The other special revenue fund we have is a textbook fund, and according to VDOE, we can expect $161,527, and there's literally one line item in that fund, and that is textbook expenditures. So those two special revenue funds are self-sustaining. We are able to roll that from one year to the next for continued use, and one thing we cannot do is use that to ease operational pressures. I'll be glad to entertain any questions on the special revenue.
So just quickly on the cafeteria fund, so that's not based upon number of students?
It
When
is
we look at
based
our
on number
budget.
of meals served.
So it's number of meals served. I'm just surprised, because again, if our numbers, we're down about, 40 students from last year? Is that correct?
58.
58, okay. So again, just looking for next year's budget, we're going up, but if that's not based upon, it's still, number of students would be the number of meals served, right?
Yes.
So, again, that's why I was just trying to understand if we're going up, but our students are staying the same, where's that extra cost coming from? And I can see your numbers, is that just inflation? Is that why we're looking for that increase, 15,000?
On the salaries and benefits side, we have to remain competitive. And on the supplies and materials side, we do have costs constantly increasing. Those costs just don't decline dollar for dollar with enrollment. Okay, next
I
slide,
have a
please.
question.
Oh, back up.
Wait, go back. Go back again for the cafeteria. Is this also, this is just a question. Didn't our freezers or something break down in our cafeterias and everything?
Go ahead and answer that, Dr. Walters. Sure.
So there are some capital pieces that we're addressing. Our cafeteria has actually done very well in terms of recouping reimbursement.
Okay.
Because the meals that we're serving are reimbursable meals, like Mr. Evans shared. There are other projects that we're looking at implementing. For instance, this summer we are looking to be able to send meals home to children. Those meals are also going to be reimbursable.
Okay.
We're going to be on a spending plan. We are addressing some capital needs, including the chiller at FHS. That is being replaced. Demo starts tomorrow. The new one is being placed on Monday. So there are pieces that we are addressing on the capital side as relates to the cafeteria.
Okay. Thank you.
Certainly.
Okay, next slide. Now we'll switch gears and go into the normal monthly financial report. This is our operating fund, which contains general fund and grant funds. And I've presented fiscal year 24 and 25 results for comparison. When we look at our current year results, the fiscal year 26 budget is based on the city ordinance plus 2 budget amendments that have been approved both by the school board and by the city council. The actual numbers come directly out of our financial reporting system without modification. We will be bringing 2 future budget amendments to the school board and city council for consideration. One will be to reduce the state funding down to what we anticipate receiving based on our decline in enrollment. And the other will be to increase the budget for our existing grants as well as our current year grants. This is our textbook fund. Our budget is $169,389, and we've spent $46,540 on that. For the nutrition fund, as Dr. Walters mentioned, we do continue to run a surplus in that account. We do have that cash in the bank, and VDOE only allows us to keep 3 months on hand at any one time. We have about 4.5 right now. So part of that spending plan will be to address some of the capital needs and capital needs. Next slide. And this brings us to, this is what our overall total looks like. Now, many divisions are experiencing this same kind of financial result due to enrollment is declining statewide. Each division will respond differently to that based on their local priorities and funding capacity. But our primary concern will be to maintain the program quality and operational stability during the times when we're having to manage limited resources. This is mainly a reflection of recurring costs versus recurring revenue.
When will we get the final audit for 25? Is that going to come through? Do we have any understanding?
The audit hasn't begun,
Okay.
so I imagine it will be approximately 3 months after it begins.
So it's usually a year later than the actual time. So 25 budget won't be done until middle of 26, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Next, we'll go into our cash position this month. In February, our inflows were $1.8 million. We spent $2 million. So in February, we added to our $969,000 deficit by $132,944.42. And this does coincide exactly with the Treasurer's Office calculations. We are working with city finance and the appropriate people at the city to collaboratively work on ways we can address this issue. And financial projections, of course, become more accurate the closer we get to year end. But I will be prepared to report on that progress in a future meeting.
So you work closely with Dinah with all these figures?
Yes, ma'am, to the penny.
Okay.
So what does this all mean? What is this telling us? Our expenses continue to outpace our revenues. And that's going to require ongoing attention and probably strategic decisions. It is driven by fixed costs that do not decline proportionately with declining enrollment. There are also timing differences in state funding. We have to spend before we get the funding. And we do have ongoing operational commitments that we will have to honor. But we will continue to update the board transparently each month, and that way, hopefully, we can inform better board decisions.
So something I know in past you've been able to show us is similar years, like, so last year, we were able to see where we were last year at the same period of time.
Yes, sir.
Do we still have those numbers? I mean, I'd love to see February's numbers from last year so I can compare and say, are we way off or are we close to where we were? We know in 24 we had a positive, we were okay, we did our budget fine, we ended up catching up at the end of the year. I still would ask for that we can see those guidelines so we can say, where were we last year, where were we the year before, are we similar or not? Because then that kind of gives more urgency to the problem. I mean, if we're 1.1 million right now in deficit, were we similar? Do you know last year? Was that similar to what we are this year?
It's less than what we were last year.
Okay.
And we have some ongoing unreimbursed expenditures that we are still working with the city to resolve.
And hopefully budgets are coming through. I understand we've maybe got that coming this Monday. We'll hear about that where we sit with those
Hopefully.
numbers, those unreimbursed. But yeah, in the future, if we could do that, that would help me just feel more comfortable about saying, oh yeah, well, last year we were this way or we're better, then maybe we're doing better.
So I'll publish the February result, and moving forward, I'll include that slide.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I'll be happy to entertain any other questions.
Thank you, Ms. Morrison.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Johnson.
Madam Chair, to the board, to Dr. Carter, to the citizens, good evening.
Good evening.
I stand before you to talk about two things briefly, and that is love and compassion. And that is, we need love and compassion in our school system, and the staff is working with that for our students. It's something that it's needed. Without that love and compassion, we would have events like ODU experienced, because basically we are dealing with delicate minds to develop them, and our students need our help. I speak as an advocate, a community advocate, basically. They need our help with growth and development. For instance, the program Spring Fling is a very good program. This was my third year attending. Several of the board members attended. But what actually gave me a serious reflection was that same stage that I sat on. I stood on that stage some years ago, graduating from S.P. Morton Elementary School. Same stage, same cafeteria, same environment. But then, and even now, love and compassion was implemented for our students. And I know we talk about technical programs, CTE programs, educational programs, Title I programs, but without that intimate part that we all share, the board as well as the staff, that's the thing that gets us over to make the school system of the city of Franklin great. Because we need those programs. It was, as it was stated, over 400 people came out with that program, and it served the students well. And I got a chance to share with them and talk with the students that were there and tell them, I went to the same school that you're attending now. And they looked at me in amazement, as you can imagine. But it's something to say, I went there, and they're attending now. So basically, it's a great situation if you look at that. If you go back and it takes you down memory lane, those are the things that help us to move the school system forward as well as the city forward. I expect great things out of the school system. I expect great things out of the city as well, because now is the time to move forward, to lay everything else aside and realize With the schools, it's not about us, it's about the students. With the city, it's not about us, it's about helping our community. Those things is what we need to move our city forward. And with the part of the school system, there are some programs that we'll be developing that I'm not going to speak about now, but in the very near future, that the school system will be a part of that program to help drive our city to where it needs to be. Growth and development. Growth and development is very important for us. And we're all learning. That's the thing. None of us are geniuses. None of us, we're all learning. So we make mistakes, but we learn from our mistakes, we move forward, and we get the job done for our children. And I would just like to say that Dr. Carter bringing the programs in to our system is very important, that we embrace them, work together to make this a great atmosphere in the city of Franklin. And I would ask the board that you would consider, and we need you to extend this contract to move forward, because without that, doing something else would only put us years behind. One of the programs and some of the programs that are doing, I looked at in Germany, because I'm on the board, the Workforce Council Board, and with the Workforce Council Board, we went out to Germany and looked at some of the same programs, and some of the same programs that we're implementing and doing here has been successful, and that's what we need. So I ask those who are in support of Dr. Carter to please stand at this time for the extension of his contract. Thank you.
Dr. Johnson, can I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
I've been told we put our money where our mouth is at.
Correct.
We, as a division, have the lowest in our area from our locality paying for our schools. We have the lowest percentage in our area.
Yes.
How can we as a board and as a community help our city council change that percentage? Is there anything we can do?
Yes, I think we have a meeting, we sit down and we iron out our problems, differences, because I'm in support. I know you were funded the minimum. That was not my decision. I would, if it was just me, I would give more, but it's coming back, because if you do the minimum part, we cannot be successful. We need to address the situation. We need to sit down together and just have a meeting, iron everything out, and you present your side, and we'll listen. Because one of my things is the schools and the council must work together. They must work together to have a good relationship, to build a situation with the city that is successful. Without that, we're missing some parts. I agree with you. We need to put our money where our mouths is, because you should have more. It takes that economically to grow anything now and to be successful. And without those funds, there's a lack in growth. So I get it. I understand where you're coming from. I'm glad you point that out. And anything I can do, just let me know.
Do you feel the community understands where we sit as a school division, and the level of funding we're having to work with. Do you think the community understands how limited we are, how our hands are being tied?
No.
So how do we help the community see that, so they're filling this up, or they're filling up the city chambers at city council meetings to say, look, our kids are not being funded in their education, not like other divisions are.
Right. I think it's an educational process that we, for instance, one of the programs that Dr. Carter did was Boots on the Ground, basically, which I was a part of that. We need more of that, basically, to touch bases with our community, as well as not only the school division, but the council as well. I would be in favor of formulating a meeting, like a town hall meeting, and just meet with our citizens to let them know what the situation is and how important it is, and money is needed to move forward, because we live in a situation now economically that is tough. I talked with some people this evening, constituents, and where they get limited amounts of funding and they still have to pay their bills. And I'm not going to go into that tonight, but I'm working on some things that I've been to Washington and the Senate building and talked to some of the senators and so forth, and some more Congress people to get some funding for Franklin and some help. So we're working to get help on the way to help our situation, because we don't realize the severity of the need, and that's why I say meeting the need of our people, citizens, it's important. Without that, we get in a bad situation, and we don't want that. It's not only the schools, but it's some things that have to be done, and I'll address that later at another time, but there's some things in place that will be done to revitalize our community, because it's important. There's just some things. Transportation is one. I brought in the food bank to meet that need, but transportation is one. 5311 program. People need to get to the doctors. People are not going to the doctor and becoming more ill. That's a problem. We don't have the facilities here to meet the needs of we have a hospital, but it doesn't do everything. So individuals have to go to Virginia Beach, Smithfield, Suffolk, and other areas. And that's one of my goals, is to push to develop transportation to get them there. And I'll get into more of that before City Council. I can speak some on it. The City Council, before we approved that, but it fell through the cracks. So we're picking that back up to make that the priority for our citizens. But that, I agree with you. I understand where you're coming from. That's a good question. We need to meet that challenge. Without that, and it's our responsibility, because at the end of the day, it affects our students as well as our citizens. So let's work together, hand in hand, to make and create what we need to make this community what it needs to be. I thank you. Any other questions?
Dr. Johnson, you're
Yes.
one of our biggest advocates and have been for many years, and we certainly appreciate that. But to support what Dr. Harrison just said, I keep those numbers in my head all the time. Franklin sends 13% of their budget to the school system. Southampton County, 32%. Isle of Wight, 28%. Even Greensville County, 21%. And Franklin is 13%.
Yes,
We have a lot of work to do with that.
I agree. That was the thing even when we did the budget before. And when it came up with that, I said it should be more. It has to be more. And I will still fight for you, basically, to make it more, because that's one of the reasons we are where we are now, because of that. It takes finance, and I was just listening to the reports that you were talking about, and the Vice Chair, what you brought out, Ms. Bailey, about you had one bill and another. With more finance, we can do more things. But it's still escalating, but we need to figure out a way to get that back in place, because if not, we'll all have some problems, and we don't need that. There are ways, there are government grants, there are things to reach out for to get it done. We just need to work together. When I went to Washington and some more places, I talked to some people that are reassured that we can get some things. We just need to put it together. And so working together, we can make that happen. But not working together, we can't do a thing. A house divided
Cannot stand.
will not stand. But together we stand, divided we fall. And we're not going to fall. We didn't come this far for failure. We are successful, and we can move forward. This I know. I trust the citizens. I love the citizens. I trust them. I know they will come together and support us on this, as well as looking at the board, as well as council. That's what we need to do. That's what we must do. We have to do that. Without that, it's nothing but failure, and we don't need that. We are too intelligent to fail. Thank you.
I just want to address something that you had, not you, Dr. Carr, not you, Dr. Johnson. No, praise God, no, you're fine. Just something that you had asked Reed about the citizens, the community, do they understand where we're at? We have a lot of smart, educated, intelligent citizens. Some of them, a lot of people do understand. So I don't want to leave here discounting what our community understands. We have people who are in the teaching field and every other field there are. And I don't want to discount it. They do understand, well, a lot of them do. Especially in my ward, I get calls from my ward and other people's wards. And they do understand exactly where we're at. They're just they're not in agreement with everything, something like what Dr. Johnson said. They understand, they are not in agreement where this piece of money is going or that piece of money is going, the old term my grandmother used. So they do understand. They're in disagreement with certain things. And yes, meeting of the mind, so forth, does need to happen. But I don't want to discount our community on their understanding. Believe me, this community, this group right here understands quite well what is going on.
Dr. Ricks?
All right, good evening again. This evening, we are pleased to recognize a group of students with the prestigious Blue and Gold Award tonight. And as you can look around, you will see some of their art that the students have been working on displayed, and also we have a picture of their work as well. Their pieces reflect creativity, effort, and a willingness to express themselves in a meaningful way. We also recognize them for their commitment to themselves and also to their artwork in general. We also want to recognize their teacher, Miss Daisy Edwards. Can you stand, Miss Edwards? This is Miss Edwards' first year teaching, and we thank her for opening up a space where her students feel encouraged and willingness to share their work. I also want to give Ms. Edwards another special thank you because she also hosted a paint night with hot cocoa for staff, and we had an excellent time with her leading us in that moment as well. So we want to thank. So we thank her for her commitment to Franklin City Public Schools. She's going to come forward and she has something to share, and we also going to be presenting her students with awards.
Good evening. I
Good
am
evening.
Daisy Edwards. I'm not a public speaker, so this is going to be quick. I am one of the art teachers at Franklin High School, and it is truly an honor to recognize a few of my incredibly talented and creative students. Students I've had the pleasure of teaching and guiding over the past couple of months. Each of these students consistently goes above and beyond, demonstrating dedication, growth, and a genuine passion for their work. Their creativity shines through everything they create, and it has been inspiring watching them develop their artistic voices. The artwork they are sharing today is a wonderful mix of pieces they each selected themselves. Some have created drawings using charcoal and graphite, and one student chose to bring in a beautiful painting of a candle. Each piece reflects their unique perspective and creativity. I also want to thank everyone in this room for coming to support the students and for showing your encouragement of their passion for creating. Finally, I want to express how proud I am, not only of their accomplishments in art, but of the thoughtful, hardworking, and remarkable young people they are becoming. Thank you. Shaylee Bracy, who is not here this evening. Unfortunately, some of our students aren't here for sports events, but Christian Joyner, Roman Montoya, Nigel Moore, Kyer Taylor, who is also not here, Janae Crockett, Elizabeth Bunn, Jason Peters, Michaela Newell, and Aaliyah Bracy.
Gracie, look to me. I thank you. And a little bit closer there, please, on the left-hand side, my left-hand side. I thank you all. Very nice.
I'm going to ask now. What's the teacher's name again? Dr. Ricks, before you go any further, we have, the vice chair has presented a question. she'd like to know, with each one of the students, can we actually frame their pictures
Yes, we can.
and have them framed and then present it to them?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be nice.
Okay,
Good idea.
thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to have Mr. Creekmer. He's going to come forward, and he's going to share our grand opening of the J.P. King Beauty and Skills Academy.
Greetings, Madam Chair, school board members, Superintendent Dr. Carter,
Hello.
FCPS staff, community members, and families. My name is Jonathan Creekmer, Director of Joseph P. King Career and Technical Academy, and I'm with my cosmetology teacher, Mrs. Lawrence. It's my pleasure to present a qualitative report on a major milestone in the JPK Cosmetology and Barbering Program. The grand opening of a cosmetology lab where students can obtain the necessary work-based learning experiences that will lead to effective practice to pass the state board exam and potentially launch them into a career in the field of barbering and/or cosmetology. This project began in July of 2025. We searched the entire city, originally looking for an existing salon to partner with us so that students will be able to obtain the work hours necessary to earn certification. After weeks of searching and not being successful, we decided to pivot and search for spaces that were not being utilized and rebrand them for purposes of providing real-world experiences for our students. Mr. Murphy, my lead custodian, provided me with a reference name of someone he knew in the community. Her name was Mrs. Rosa Lawrence. When I met Mrs. Lawrence, she immediately expressed the desire to give back to the city of Franklin and to the youth of the city. She, her daughter, and her husband worked diligently to ensure renovations and improvements were made, and Franklin City Public Schools maintenance crew was very dedicated to this process. This was a collaborative effort between the public school system and residents with a history of devotion to the progress and development of Franklin City. The grand opening was centered on community building, community mentorship, and student pride. The community showed up for us to offer their unwavering support of our students and programs. Mrs. Rosa Lawrence has done a phenomenal job, not only with teaching the content of cosmetology and barbering, but with grooming our students to speak and interact in a professional manner. I would now like to bring forth Mrs. Lawrence to expand on the grand opening event.
Good afternoon,
Hello.
Dr. Carter, Dr. Ricks, and our esteemed school board members. Thank you so much for participating at our grand opening.
Yes, ma'am.
J.P. King Vocational Center has had a significant milestone to all of us here at our Cosmetology and Barbering Vocational Lab in Franklin, Virginia. As we gather to celebrate our new facility, I want to take a moment to reflect on the journey that has brought us. This lab is not just a building. It's a community, a hub of creativity, and a launch pad for future professionalism in the beauty and barbering industry. Each one of us, of you, has chosen a path that is vibrant and ever evolving. You are stepping into a world where artistry meets skill, where your hands will sharp will shape not just hair and beauty, but also confidence and self-expression in others. Our dedicated faculty is here to guide you, sharing your knowledge and experience to help you hone your craft. The tools and resources availability to you in this new facility are designed to foster your growth and inspire your creativity. We believe in your potential and are committed to providing you with a rich learning environment where you can thrive. As you embark on the journey, remember the beauty industry is about more than just appearance. It's about making connections, uplifting others, and contributing to the community. Embrace every opportunity, learn from every challenge, and most importantly, support one another. Let's make this lab a place where innovation flourish, friendship and dreams, and realize together we will shape the future of beauty and barbering in Franklin and beyond. Thank you so much for your participation. Thank you for encouraging our students. They are beginning to see the light. Thank you, everyone that have done donations to the program. Thank you, Ms. Murphy, for donating your products back to the program. Just send your love to these students so they can achieve a great goal by going out and learning their skills and going back to earn their degree at State Board. Thank you.
And if we could progress through the slides, this was a sign produced by a local vendor. We're keeping everything in Franklin City. Vic Signs made the sign that's outside of the cosmetology lab. Next slide. This is a dedication to our maintenance and operations employees. They put together equipment. They hooked up the wash bowls and the electrical equipment. And so it was a team effort, and we wanted to honor the maintenance staff for all the hard work that they did. This is Mrs. Rosa Lawrence, our fabulous cosmetology teacher who has really revamped the program, and she came in. It's a larger story that I won't tell today, but it was really a connection that we made when I came to just look at the space, and then I ended up reaching back to her to see if she would be interested in taking over the program. And she really has shaped the program in a mighty way. Next slide. This is Mrs. Lawrence with two of our barbering students, Jaquan Williams and Rasan Ricks, and then Miss Lawrence with her cousins who came out to support the event that day. Dr. Carter delivered a brief speech on the initial vision of the CTE Academy and then where we are now. And one of the quotes he said is that this is what it's all about, just about our students and about the pride that the students exhibited on that day, and also about the amount of community support that we had. Mrs. Lawrence was presented with the Franklin City Public Schools prestigious Blue Gold Award that day that was presented alongside Assistant Superintendent Dr. Ricks and School Board Chairperson Mrs. Boone. This is a picture of the cosmetology students with Dr. Carter, myself, Dr. Ricks, in front at the grand opening, and you can just see the pride on their faces. The grand opening was also covered by the Tidewater News, in which we were on the front page of the Tidewater News. And this is success, because we were trying to decide who was going to actually cut the ribbon, and one of our students, very mildly, she's not very mild in terms of her demeanor, very outspoken young lady, but in that moment we heard her in the back say, "Can I do it?" And we said, "Certainly." And look at the pride on her face, just being the one to cut the ribbon for the grand opening. So that is a successful moment for our CTE Academy and our program, our cosmetology and barbering program. And so what does the future hold? The future holds work-based learning in the cosmetology lab, which the students are there 2 days a week. and studying for the state board exam. We are excited to expand our work-based learning experiences for the students. We encourage all in the community to support our students and schedule a visit to our lab for service. We do charge a nominal fee to cover costs of materials and supplies. Ultimately, the goal is for our students to become proficient in their techniques, to gain the necessary knowledge to pass the state board exam and earn their industry certification in the field of barbering or cosmetology. This is yet another example of the hard work that our teachers, our staff, and the community has put forth under the banner of the JPK CTE Academy. We would like to present the school board with a copy of the program and the backstory to Mrs. Lawrence and her father as a qualitative example of the connection between community and the school division. Thank you so much for your attention, and have a good night.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
so I'm liking looking at this. I didn't get to make the grand opening on Thursday, but I went by there on Wednesday as the students were getting their stations prepped. And they were very, very, very excited about their grand opening. I talked to the guys a little bit, and I went to the salon side, and I got to talk to the ladies. And I know I have probably 3 appointments already scheduled: eyelashes, hair wash, some braids, ×2. And you know what though? To see the joy that they had on their faces, right? To do something that they love, because I talked to them to find out what their specialties were. What do you like to do, right? And you know, I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how I'm going to make this thing work, right? But I completely believe in supporting what it is that they're doing. Like, that is not something to take lightly by any means, especially partnering with such a staple in our community. That family business goes back generations. I was a little girl going in there with my grandmother to get her hair done. So it hits home a lot. And then to see that business partnering with us to give those kids what it is that they need, and just to give them a spark, to give them something different. Like, I'm really happy and I'm excited. So I'm gonna go get some things done. I'm gonna go get some things done. But you know what? But it's also one of those things where they learn. Like, how are they gonna learn if there's nobody in their chair to cut? How are they gonna learn there's nobody there for them to and she didn't say, can I wash your hair? She didn't say that to me. She said, can I shampoo your hair? I said, okay, correct terminology, right? But how else are they gonna learn if people don't pour into them or give them that opportunity? So just for the love of the kids, period, take advantage of what it is that they have and what they're offering. So when y'all see me with my braids, you know what I mean? Just know that's one of them babies at the CTE Center that did it for me.
Just quick question. Do they perform miracles? Because I could really use some help. I mean, if they can do something here,
Some
Big money.
semi-miracles, Dr.
Semi-miracles.
Harrison. We can't regrow hair, but we can tighten you up a little bit. Okay, we got you. Just come on down.
Thanks.
We'll
Thanks.
do it.
I'll come down and see.
We do an analysis, and we
we'll see in the next
do a-
school board meeting what y'all do.
We do a consultation. You can be one of our. We did have some clients came in today, and we had some clients on Tuesday. So come on down. The kids are trained to do a consultation with you to find out what your needs are, and then we take it from there.
And we also want to just share as well that these are our level 2 cosmetology students, because first they have to go through the book component, pass that level 1 before they get the lab experience, which is level 2. And we honored to have kids that committed and completed 1. Now they're working on 2, leading to that certification, and that's what it's about. So once again, let's give our CTE team a hand. Appreciate their work. And at this time, we have another special presentation. Last board meeting, we shared a video from the Capitol with our board and community. And tonight, we have Dr. Wilkins here and his lovely wife, Ms. Wilkins, who's going to have a presentation to share with you of how they're going to be partnering with the Franklin City Public Schools.
Good evening. I'm coming in on the back end of celebrating the CTE program. When I saw them up here presenting, it hit my heart as well because I serve as the barber instructor for the city of Portsmouth. So to celebrate the CTE program for the city of Franklin, it just really, hit my heart. But good evening. Good evening to Dr. Carter. Good evening. Madam Chair, the distinguished members of the school board, the administrators, and the staff who are here. My name is Carl Wilkins, and I am the pastor of the Mount at Suffolk. I am also the co-founder and the founder of Cutting His Image Ministry. To date, our organization proudly serves the 7 cities of Hampton Roads, as well as Isle of Wight County and Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Our mission is to positively impact youth and families through mentorship, exposure, education, and community building initiatives. Currently, we facilitate 4 major initiatives each year. 1, Promise, uniquely special. Promise is a prom experience specifically designed for special need population of students across Hampton Roads. Recognizing that many local schools are unable to fully accommodate these students at traditional proms, we created a space where they can experience this important rite of passage. We provide formal attire at no cost to the student and ensure they enjoy a safe, celebratory, and affirming evening designed just for them. 2, Sneakers from a Preacher. This initiative partners with local pastors, with students from alternatives and Title I schools throughout Hampton Roads. This event centers around mentorship, relationship building, through a community basketball game where pastors and students engage together. Each participating student receives a brand new pair of sneakers, reinforcing the message that they are valued, supported, and seen. 3, Professional Development Trips. This trip is specifically designed for school students and focuses on professional growth and life skills. Each year, students travel to a new location where they are taught essential tools such as professional dress, job interviewing skills, communication, etiquette, and professional hygiene. Every student receives a full professional outfit, including shoes and grooming services, at no cost. Throughout the experience, professionalism and motivational speakers empower and encourage them to envision a future filled with opportunity. 4, Yearly Exposure Trips. This initiative targets specific groups of students such as athletic teams, trade school students, and other focused population, and expose them to opportunities beyond the Commonwealth of Virginia. Whether related to their sport, trade, or academic interests, the goal is to broaden their perspective. By stepping outside of the current environment, students are encouraged to dream bigger, explore new possibilities, and recognize their potential beyond what they see daily. In addition, these core programs will maintain smaller but impactful initiatives. We partner with local school districts to provide food, clothing, and school supplies to students and teachers. We collaborate with community and city organizations to serve special needs and homeless population. We also work to help strengthen relationships between young people and law enforcement by creating opportunities for positive, healthy interactions. In all of our efforts, our overarching goal is to develop young people and help reduce the combat violence within our communities. We firmly believe that mentorship, exposure, and consistent positivity reinforces our foundational steps in helping young people shift their thinking and make healthier choices. Furthermore, we are committed to fostering constructive relationships between youth and law enforcement to ease tension, build trust, and ultimately help keep our children and community safe. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to share the work that we're doing and the heart behind it. We look forward to continue to serve this community and support the students and families of this community. In conclusion, if you would allow me, I have submitted 2 prepared videos for your review.
Another great day, y'all. I want to thank those from our community who responded to the call. As you can see, we touched the lives of people that have life will never be the same. There is more work to do, y'all. This is just the beginning. We just don't want to put these guys in nice apparel without being able to take them somewhere. Exposure is everything. You can go only as far as you can see the field.
Yeah, man, I love stuff like this, man. Seeing people give back to the community and what basketball is doing is just it's a true testament. It's close and dear to my heart because, giving back to kids in general is just what it's all about. Seeing things like this and having kids being able to experience it just being fun.
Something different is getting ready to happen in this city. And it's because of what's happening in this room. When y'all leave out this locker room and y'all go away games and all that, next year, man, y'all will set a standard because you're going to be walking in looking different. And when you look different and you feel different, it shows out on the basketball court. You're getting glimpses of what it is at the next level. Today, you have earned to breathe. So what we're doing is, we're putting a jacket on. And then it's more than a jacket. We're setting the standards of everything that comes after you. And once you finish wearing the jacket, you take the jacket off and charge the next person. You tell them there is a responsibility that comes with wearing the jacket. That's the legacy of what you guys are doing today. Phenomenal day. I want to thank everybody, Superintendent Carter, his staff, Speaker of the House, Don Scott, his team, Delegate Darius Clark, and all of the partners in the community who made this moment happen.
It was just another opportunity to show our young people that there is greater.
Well, it's a good moment. It's good to be back together as a team and for us to experience this together.
This is a beautiful moment to celebrate the boys. I think it's really good to put teams and spaces or those that deserve to see and get honored in places like this. Just makes them even more motivated to keep going. It keeps the drive up. It keeps the passion alive. And so I think this is a very special event that is more and well deserved. If you've ever been to Franklin, Virginia, you would understand how important this is for them. This is such a life-changing moment. Operation Legacy 2026, we done it again. Awesome opportunity for you, these young men, to see something different, to experience something different.
It's a good experience. Every day was a good experience. It's a blessing we need to be here. We're going to remember this for the rest of our lives.
Look, y'all, as we always say, church is supposed to change lives. And again, we cannot do it without you. We'll see y'all on the other side.
A great friend once told me, if you don't know where you're going in life, every path you take will get you there. Many
can't you see it? Instead of looking over the horizon, I stood in the horizon. Oh, what a beautiful place to be. They showed me that it could be done. And if they can do it, so can I. It takes great dedication, great commitment. You gotta be relentless, determined to persevere, determined to overcome, determined to face any challenge or any obstacle or any adversity that will come your way. You have to dream. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep plugging. Make every step count. Now, I'm not saying that this is the outcome, but I am saying this is a step in the right direction. So make every step count. Make every move you make count. Watch our next move. Change athletes' minds and habits.
I'm standing up. I'm sorry. I'd like to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, that was amazing. That was amazing.
I would love for the board to consider an outsider just coming in trying to help. I just believe it's going to take all of us to change the direction of the next generation. Now, as I always say, y'all, we can't save them all, but let's save the ones we can.
Sometimes just changing one,
Just one.
saving one, is a lot.
That's all it takes is one. That's all it takes is one. So thank y'all for giving me the opportunity to
Thank
share
you.
my heart, not only that, but the work that I'm doing. I would love to continue the partnership with the City of Franklin, Dr. Carter, the school board, in any way that I can be a help and an assistant, I'm here. So again, thank y'all for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam Chair, that concludes my report.
Okay. Next, we have the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the work session minutes for February 5th, 2026, second reading.
I'll second that.
With that motion and that second, do we have a discussion? With that motion and that second, we did have an absentee that day, if I'm correct. Ms. Bailey was not here. I remember you saying something about the 5th. Were you here? You were here? Okay. 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 I knew it was something. I didn't know what. With that being said, Mr. Grant?
Yay.
Ms. Parker?
Aye.
Ms. Bailey?
Aye.
Ms. Boone? Aye. Mr.
Aye.
Hope? Dr. Harrison?
Can I say aye even though I missed most of it? I can approve the minutes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
Yes.
I did, so, yeah, aye.
2
Ma-
point,
Madam Chair, I also request approval of the regular meeting minutes for February 19th, second reading, 2026.
I'll second that.
with that motion and that second, do we have any discussion? Mr. Grant?
Aye.
Ms. Parker?
Aye.
Ms. Bailey?
Aye.
Ms. Boone? Aye.
Aye.
Dr. Harrison?
Aye.
Three point three school board session meeting minutes for March 5th is the first reading, so we will come back for that one. Now we will be entering into closed session.
In accordance with 2.2-3711 of the Code of Virginia, I move that the Franklin City School Board enter into a closed session to discuss and evaluate matters related to supplemental employment, promotion, resignation, termination, and superintendent evaluation pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.23711 Alpha 1.
Second.
With that motion, any discussion? Motion and a second. Mr. Grant?
Aye.
Ms. Parker?
Aye.
Ms. Bailey? Aye. Ms. Boone? Aye. Mr.
Aye.
Hodge? Dr. Harrison?
Aye.
Closed session it is. The closed session has concluded. We are now returning to open session. I would like to entertain a motion to come out of closed session.
I so move.
I'll second that.
With the motion and the second, we'll now vote. Mr. Grant?
Yay.
Parker?
Aye.
Bailey?
Aye.
Boone? Aye. Holt?
Aye.
Dr. Harrison? Certification by Whitman.
Whereas the Franklin City School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Section 2.2-3712. of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law, and now therefore be it resolved that the Franklin City School Board hereby certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification applies, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered.
A second.
With that motion and that second, any discussion? Mr. Grant?
Aye.
Ms. Parker?
Aye.
Ms. Bailey?
Aye.
Boone? Aye. Mr. Holt?
Aye.
Dr. Harrison?
Yes.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the personnel agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
With the motion and the second of the what? Any discussion? With the motion and the second of the personal agenda, Mr. Grant?
Aye.
Parker?
Aye.
Bailey?
Aye.
Boone? Aye. Holt?
Aye.
Dr. Harrison?
Yes.
We now move into school board. Citizens' time. This evening for citizens' time, can Ms. Carolyn Lawrence please come?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, I think. At the last meeting, I'm going to touch on some things that were said, and it really touched me. 67 years in my community. Carter calling the community members cheesy is a significant red flag indicating a lack of respect, cultural misalignment, and poor leadership, which this behavior creates a lack of trust, and you wonder why the community is not involved as much as they are. People see things. People talk like we talk. Favoritism and exclusion. You have a preferred circle and not treating the rest of the community. You're treating the rest of the community as outsiders. Micromanagement, over controlling the staff. Poor communication, withholding information or failing to engage in honest, open dialogue with stakeholders. Condescending and disrespectful language referring to the community with the dismissive label, cheesy, small-minded, unwell-minded. Why not you engage professionally? I want to talk about Dr. Manor, last school board meeting. I was not informed of the investigation or the allegation I got accused of. No email, no phone call, no footage, no nothing. I haven't done anything some of these people sitting in here have done. Nothing in my record. But again, I got treated like a criminal. But now I'm going to become a smooth operator because I'm doing some things on my own, and I've got some things in place, and I'm going to continue to push, and I just want you all, what I have in this folder is very powerful. And as of tomorrow, I'm going to continue to do my research and my homework. Thank you.
Can we now hear from Ms. Chelsea Chewing? Did I say her name right?
Hi, I'm Chelsea Tuning, as I'm sure you guys are already aware. My only purpose here today is for documentation purposes. I've prepared a statement. I'm a parent in this district, and I'm placing on the public record serious concerns about systemic failures and how this district handles the safety, rights, and education of students with disabilities. As I'm sure you're aware, OCR sent a notice to the district to investigate today, and VDOE found the district out of compliance for all of my allegations except for one, which I appealed. This is not just about one child or one classroom. This is about patterns, failure to notify parents, failure to investigate incidents, lack of transparency, and lack of accountability when concerns are raised. We are talking about preschool-age children in early childhood special education, children who are nonverbal or minimally verbal, children who cannot tell their parents what happened to them. Those are the most vulnerable students in this district. I'm aware of ongoing concerns involving that classroom, including reports from multiple families and actions involving staff, and yet parents were not notified in a timely or transparent way. That is not a small failure, that is a breakdown of trust and responsibility. This is not just a procedural, this raises serious civil rights concerns. When disabled children are in environments where incidents are not reported and parents are not informed, that raises concerns about safety, access, and equal protection. I am also aware of concerns from families who feel discouraged from speaking up after raising concerns. Parents should not feel afraid to advocate for their children. Approximately 1 in 6 children has developmental disability. That is a significant portion of your student population. A lack of training in autism, behavior, and communication leads to misinterpretation, inappropriate responses, and potential harm. My son has now been out of school for 3 days, not by choice, but because the district has not provided a clear plan to ensure his safety or a response to the state. Under IDEA, he has a right to a free, appropriate public education, that is FAPE. A program cannot be appropriate if a parent cannot safely send their child. At this point, this reflects a failure to ensure safety, communicate transparently, and provide a plan moving forward. I'm asking for clear, documented answers. What occurred in that classroom? Why were parents not notified? What actions have been taken? And what changes will be implemented to ensure this does not happen again anywhere in this district? This is not limited to one classroom. This requires district-wide accountability. The ADA was passed 30 years ago on March 13th and required people to throw themselves out of their wheelchairs and climb up the Capitol steps to show people what equal access looks like. And these are the challenges that we face every single day. Thank you.
All right, I want to say good evening to Mr. Chair, Vice Chair Ms. Bailey, and the rest of the council. I thought it was bad enough. I was getting ready to say, you know, I'm really appalled by the fact that our children are steady coming out of these schools not being able to read, write, and do arithmetic. You know, that was bad. But I've just heard this young lady, and I saw on TV today where her child was possibly restrained in a chair that was outlawed in the state of Virginia. And I've talked to a couple other parents who have the same allegations. So this is really disturbing. And I was at a meeting not too long ago when I had a parent to come up and say that her child had been abused. And I think Dr. Carter signaled somebody out here to take note and find out what was going on when she said that she had already reported it and nobody had gotten back with her. I want to know, what's the purpose of the school board? If y'all are not going to follow up on what you're supposed to be doing, then we have a problem. Dr. Carter is not the board. He's the superintendent. Y'all have responsibility for his actions. You can get rid of him or keep him, but let me tell you, the blood is on y'all. You know, I wondered a while back, because I was planning on getting a lawyer and suing y'all. But my Lord, my God told me to stand down, because that's money I was going to have to waste. You know what? Y'all getting rid of yourselves. I don't even have to do a thing. Actually, these people that's been coming out here month after month, week after week, whenever we had a meeting, that's been advocating for these children, you know what? They can just stop, because y'all are doing what you have to do to get rid of yourselves. And Dr. Carter, I'm appalled at you. You said earlier that we had been embarrassing and talking ugly to the board. Well, let me tell you that my respect is given to people who give respect. And outside of that, forget it.
Good evening, members of the board. Dr. Carter. Per the VDOE website, Franklin now ranks last in the state for math, second to the last in the state for reading, and second to last in the state for science. When those assessments are averaged together, Franklin actually ranks last in the state. Would love to see a rebuttal, though. Dr. Carter made statements that the division was in distress prior to arriving. I checked the VDOE the other day for accreditation and accountability. All 3 schools were accredited just prior to the pandemic when he arrived. While the pandemic brought challenges, FCPS was one of the few schools that did not recover like the majority of the others in the state. Franklin was met with adversity, just didn't have the right leader at the helm to actually address it. When asked whether student performance declined by Mr. Kent, Dr. Carter stated it had not. However, state data indicates reading and math have declined for 3 consecutive years. I want to remind the board and central office that they continue misrepresenting data and lying because y'all allow it. And by allowing it, you have endorsed it. Now, let's talk about the improvement plan from last meeting. You reference high-quality instructional materials and evidence-based strategies. Those are vague buzzwords that have no meaning when you didn't define them. It emphasizes Tier 1 instruction for students with disabilities, but we've seen already how you treat them. Those students require Tier 2 and 3 interventions in the MTSS system. So it's clear central office doesn't actually understand MTSS. By approving that improvement plan, you are saying you have no intention to provide small group instruction and no intention to make individualized interventions for students. You are only going to improve whole group instruction because that is what you approved whether you want to or not. Now, FCPS ranks last in the state for math. Your solution, IXL. I literally had to control my laughter when I heard that. That is an embarrassment to every one of you up there, and you should all resign for actually signing off on it because it shows you know nothing about educational policy. Saying you were going to fix a 29% ranking in math when you're last in the state with IXL, which is a supplement, is the most laughable thing my educational experience has ever encountered. All right? I'm guessing this plan was only created to check a box for compliance because there is no way you actually intend to use it and get any results. Shame on the board for approving it, and I demand you guys go back and make a proper plan that may actually produce results. When can the board expect the review of current benchmark data, by the way? You provided around this time last year. We haven't seen it yet. You're doing so well. Show us. Why did you not include science improvement on your improvement plan? They're tanking, second to last in the state. We don't know anything about that. Lastly, 4 board members shared recently that the superintendent you gave the superintendent your endorsement. You said you've been in the schools, you've seen the good work, you know everything going on. Dr. Johnson gave us a glowing endorsement with Dr. Carter. Apparently, he gets unlimited time to speak, but the mayor can't. By the way, he's going to probably run for mayor. That's why he's so prevalent lately. Y'all catch the 5 p.m. news, by the way. With the legal costs coming, I suggest you craft a letter to the city council because you're going to need a lot more funding to pay that lawsuit. Thank you.
I have one, Madam Chair. I've corresponded with one member of City Council who frequently votes against funding of our schools. Most recently, that person voted against a $75,000 gift from a foundation to do some work at our elementary school. That person voted against a $152,000 VDEO grant to provide extra tutoring for students in math. The City of Franklin, we learned earlier tonight, gives the school system 13% of its budget to the school system, compared to 32% at Southampton, 28% in Isle of Wight, 21% in Greensville. I think it's sad that we have someone on our city council who says this: I promise myself and my colleagues I will not vote for another dollar going to a dysfunctional school system. Sad.
Shouldn't all of this be said at a city council meeting, not a school board meeting? Tell city council themselves. We need to say this to city council, not a school board meeting.
I've communicated that to the city manager.
This is still not the forum. Yes. Is this comment time, Christina? Is this our comment time? Yes. Everyone's comments didn't fall on deaf ears from the beginning, from what Dr. Johnson said right down to the last person. There was a lot of love. There was a lot of concern. Everything did not fall on deaf ears, no matter what you may or may not believe. I am well informed of this community, and I love this community. It takes a village to raise a child, and this village raised my child. It takes a village to work, to do everything. So I thank God for each person in this room. I'm going to say it again. We have smart, articulate, hardworking tradesmen, businessmen, doctors, lawyers, everything in this room, military. So I thank God for our whole community. One of the things I do believe in is fairness. Dr. Johnson did ask for everyone who supported Dr. Carter to stand up. At the same time, someone should have said everybody who doesn't support Dr. Carter and want a new regime to stand up. What you do on one hand, you must do on the other for this community. We cannot be one-sided. All of us have personal opinions. You can't change a personal opinions. You cannot change a person's personal opinion, excuse me. But facts don't change. What the facts are, the facts are. So when we say one group stand up, if you support Dr. Carter, okay, you stood up. If you didn't support Dr. Carter, you needed that opportunity to stand as well. I am not the chair. I'm just the vice chair. So I do have to state that. I am not the parliamentarian in control of this meeting, but that should have got stated from someone. You will have a blessed night. I do have another announcement. When we were going through over what our city council gives the school board and what they don't, we have to be careful when we compare them. Comparing them to Isle of Wight, they have way more students than we do. Comparing them to Southampton, they have way more students than we do. Could we at least, when we're in these meetings, go ahead and present things equally, not just one-sided, whether it's from this board, whether it's from somebody who works for central office, whether it's from the community, whether it's from city council. Any of us who present, can we present both sides of things? Let's keep things equal at this point. Again, good night.
Don't get up. A motion.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? With the motion, all in favor? Kent?
Aye.
Parker?
Aye.
Bailey?
Aye.
Boone? Aye.
Aye.
Dr.
Yes.
Harrison? Meeting adjourned.